Calvoltsar. What's up, beautiful people? Calvoltsar here, and in today's video I'm going to be going over a little build that I call the Stone Mirror. Now, as you saw in the opening clip, this build is able to pretty much wipe the entire map without firing a single shot, and it's also capable of very high captain and boss damage. Now, if the boss is by themselves, like Gauss is, and there's not a bunch of enemies shooting at you, then I would not recommend this, but for clearing the captains out when you're hunting for legendaries or materials, then this is probably one of the quickest ways to do that currently in the demo. Now, let's talk about the skill and the mods that make this all possible. The main skill we're going to be using today is Reflect Bullets, which states that you create a barrier that captures all enemy projectiles and accumulates damage, and after 12 seconds of triggering the skill, the accumulated damage is reflected back at the enemies in front of you. Now, this skill is very strong, but once we combine it with a few armor mods, it becomes the devastating force that you saw in the opening clip. Now, first let's take a look at the helmet mod you're going to want to run, called the Strongest First. This mod states that the enemy with the most health takes 50% more damage, which is significant and will help you kill those captains very fast. Next, for your chest mod, you have two options. Now, you can either run Golem of Death, which I would recommend as it helps you keep almost 100% uptime on your Golem skill while you are killing enemies. Or if you don't want to run the Golem skill and you want to stay fully spec'd into Reflect Bullets, you can run Blood Primer, which applies the bleed status effect to all enemies affected by the reflected bullets. Up next, we have your leg armor mod, which is probably the most important mod of this build, Auto Reflect. Now, this mod allows you to use your weapons and your skills while you are still reflecting bullets. Now, instead of accumulating and releasing all of the damage and bullets at one time, all of the damage and bullets are released continuously as you take it. While you have this mod equipped, you only negate 50% of damage taken, which is why I like to use the Golem skill in combination with Golem of Death. Now, if you do not like Auto Reflect and prefer to run Reflect as more of a defensive skill, you can use the leg mod Hollow Points. This mod will allow you to apply the vulnerable status effect with all of your reflected bullets, making for easy cleanup kills on any enemy that is not killed by your reflected bullets. But I would still recommend Auto Reflect, as you are able to use your weapons and skills while still applying huge damage with Reflect. The next mod we have is your glove armor mod, and that is Bullet Acceleration. This mod increases the damage of each reflected bullet by 25. While this does not sound too significant, it does add up when you consider how many bullets are going to be hitting the enemies. And finally, for your feet armor mod, we have Extra Time, which increases the duration of the Reflect Bullet skill by 20%. Now, on the clip that is currently playing, I'm going to take care of this captain because they are annoying for testing, but then I'm going to pop my Golem skill followed by my Reflect Bullet skill. Because of the Golem of Death mod I have equipped, my Golem skill gets its duration extended by 1.5 seconds for every kill that my Reflect Bullet skill gets. This means that the entire time I'm killing enemies with Reflect Bullets, I'm also getting 65% damage reduction on top of the 50% damage reduction provided by the Reflect Bullets skill with Auto Reflect. If you're wondering how this build does against captains, well, as long as there are enemies around them, they will absolutely melt. If you take a look on screen now, I prime this captain with vulnerability and then he is gone. This also works very well on the Terra Infirma side mission for the captain that we've all been farming for legendaries. I would just recommend popping your Reflect a little early so you don't accidentally clear the entire map, resulting in you having to restart the side mission. Now, the two places this build is going to struggle the most are going to be against melee enemies, as you don't have any bullets to reflect back at them. So if you find yourself in a situation with many melee enemies, I would just focus on using your Golem skill or your Gravity Leap. And then the second scenario where this build does not do well is against high health single target damage like Gauss. Now, because there's not a bunch of enemies shooting at you, you don't have a lot of bullets to reflect back at him. There is a chance that you can reflect one of his heavier hitting attacks back at him doing large damage, but it is few and far between, so I would recommend switching to some other skills and some other mods when you are fighting single target bosses like Gauss. Now, as far as weapons go, I would recommend any weapon that has a status effect like vulnerability or weakness that allows you to do more damage to enemies. Even a status effect on a weapon like bleed or toxic is beneficial because it just allows you to do more damage. The Voodoo Matchmaker legendary assault rifle is also very good because not only do enemies share damage, but it makes enemies vulnerable, allowing you to do more damage. And then as far as your skill points on your character tree go, I would say it really doesn't matter right now in the demo. We only get 2 points to spend in the character tree, so it's really not that impactful. And in my testing going between the gun damage and the anomaly damage skill tree, I really didn't see much of a difference. As long as you prime those enemies with vulnerability or weakness, they are going to just absolutely melt. Alright guys, that about does it for the video. I hope that you found it informative, and if you did, please leave a like. If you would like to see more videos from myself, then please subscribe. If there's any build videos that you would like to see in the future, then leave a comment down below and let me know what you are looking for. And as always, stay safe out there, Outriders, and I hope to see you on Enoch. Well, no, it's not. We're not professionals.